This was an incredibly domineering lizard, one that loved nothing more than crawling through a person's nostrils and burrowing straight into their brain. At first, Boba didn't think much of it, but it didn't take long for him to realize something was very wrong.
Tricky little bugger.
His mind began to blur, then a sharp pain shot through his head, like 10,000 ants gnawing at his brain. He collapsed hard. When he finally came to, he found himself in a rolling sea of sand. He had no idea where he was, or whether this was reality or some kind of hallucination. Only that something in the distance seemed to be calling to him. When he looked up, a massive tree appeared out of thin air in the middle of the sand. Staggering toward it, he reached out and touched the trunk, and suddenly countless blood-red eyes materialized before him. Boba acted as if he couldn't see them at all. Then the branches came alive, wrapping tightly around him. As memories surged back to the surface, he remembered his full name, Boba Fett, a bounty hunter of the Mandalorians. 1 year ago, he had been swallowed by a sand creature, and the only reason he hadn't been dissolved by stomach acid was the armor his father left him. At last, everything snapped back into place. As his consciousness returned to his body, he forced the tree branch apart with all his strength. A burst of sand exploded around him, as he escaped that bizarre realm, and carried the broken branch back to the tribe. James rushed out to greet him, visibly excited. From his reaction, it was clear Boba had been gone far longer than he realized. Then the chieftain approached with a small box, and removed the lizard from Boba's head.
I thought he was part of the dream.
Boba assumed he'd have to hand over the branch, but to his surprise, the chieftain examined it closely, exchanged a meaningful nod with his second-in-command, and walked away. It turned out the whole experience had been a trial set by the Sand People, and the thickness of the branch represented the strength of the one who claimed it. Boba had clearly passed. In a solemn ceremony, the Sand Tribe's leader personally draped a headscarf over him, and completed the black robe attire, formally welcoming Boba as one of their own. But the Pike Syndicate still hadn't delivered the compensation they promised, so Boba decided to seek answers on behalf of the tribe. Riding a massive bantha, he crossed the endless desert alone, and reached the Pike territory before sunset. He tied his ride to a post, calmed the creature, and stepped into the Pike building to state his purpose. The Pikes claimed the toll had already been taken by a biker gang, and that the gang was large, violent, and beat anyone who refused to pay. Boba insisted the toll belonged to the Sand People, because the desert was theirs and always had been, but the Pikes refused to pay twice. Fortunately, Boba was reasonable. He said he'd handle it, and decided to return to the tribe, to gather warriors and confront the gang together. But as he neared the camp, he saw smoke rising into the sky. A sinking dread hit him. He urged the bantha forward with everything he had, but the moment he saw what lay ahead, his heart shattered. Boba walked into the camp with heavy steps. The people who had sent him off that very morning now lay cold and lifeless on the ground. Every last member of the tribe had been slaughtered. No one could understand the grief tearing through him. He had finally found a home, and now that home was gone, all